Let's go. Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain family?
Family. That same stutter thing. Weird. That was awkward. Very awkward,
That was a
Jeff.
little
Way to
bit
start the
awkward.
show.
That's how
What
we
the
get it
hell?
going. What is Gensler doing with China? Is there something going on? Does China involving themselves somehow in our SEC, or is our SEC concerned more about China than they are about the people right here in this great country? I don't know. We're going to talk about that. And India, man, they've already had a rocky road with BRICS. I think we called that one also. They're not so happy with the other currencies within the BRICS. Take out the I and you get BRICS.
Remove the I.
So you take out the I and all you got are BRICS. So they got
always
the
sounded good on paper, Jeff.
It sounded really great on paper until India woke up one day and they realized Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa. They started questioning that thought process once again. We got to talk about that. XRP, crypto, Roblox. There's something with John Deaton. There's
with Sherminator. We got a great Sherminator video.
Sherminator. We got some Sherminator clips, Chip. We've got some great stuff to bring to you guys. Are you ready?
I'm going to go with yes. This is awkward. Let's get past this.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody, to On the Chain. Chip here, along with Jeff. Guys, drop where you're from. City, country, planet, I don't care. Wherever you're coming in from tonight, it'd be good to see exactly where everyone's coming in today. But I wanted to, this is an older clip, Jeff, but because we talk about Brad Sherman and some of the people on the from the blue team that are just in a real tight contest for dumbest human on planet. It's really a tight race. There's so many people. There, you got the squad, they're tied for first. You got the Sherminator tied for first place. Then you've got Elizabeth Warren. She may just be a little bit. They're all tied for first place for the Darwin Award, basically. But there was this exchange. Somebody posted this. I don't know. I came across this and I was like, you know what? This is something the On the Chain family would get a kick out of, because it is Tucker Carlson going head to head with Brad Sherminator.
The Sherminator himself.
Let's listen in. I hope the audio is good.
So your entire party has spent the last year telling us this is the most important thing that has ever happened. We now have evidence that the charges you are making against Trump apply to your own party and your own candidate, and you're ignoring it, and you're throwing this fit on my set telling me, oh, it's not a big deal. Why do you want to talk about the tax bill?
May and July. Obstruction of justice 3 times, violation of section 12.
You're not even, you know what? I honestly, it's hard for me to believe, given everything you've said in the last year, that you're putting on this performance now. Why don't you just say, look, what Hillary did, her campaign paying for intelligence from the Russians, that was bad, but she's not president. Let's move on. You won't even say that.
I don't know what Hillary did, except she
actually we do.
I don't know what she did. Look at that face.
Look, I mean, I get you're looking. You're trying to do the Ben Franklin look, bring it back. That's cool. You know, it's like the old. Right, Jeff? I mean, the little patches on the side with the little round Ben Franklin glasses, right? So, Jeff, he just gets destroyed in this interview. It's like he's like, okay, can you just... He doesn't know. They never know anything, right? There's no evidence. It's just that nobody knows anything. Just a fluke.
It's easier not to know.
Yeah, you can just play dumb.
Not to know. Then you can lie and make shit up.
So let's watch Sherminator try to squiggle out of this one. He doesn't know what she did. Really? Okay, let's listen in.
I don't know what Hillary did, except she
actually we do know. What do you mean we don't know? We know exactly what she did. They admitted it this week.
They admitted that they paid for opposition research. Every campaign
well, of course they all do.
For opposition
that
research.
Comes from the Russians. This dossier came from the Russians.
No, this dossier came from a research firm and a British individual.
Really? And who is the British individual? Do you know?
I believe his name is Mr. Steele.
Yeah.
Listen how he positions this, Jeff. I believe it was a British individual. Yeah, it was called the Steele dossier, and and the story was it originated from Russia. But this guy, I mean, like, this is what you call a swamp dem for sure. This is incredible,
Man,
Jeff.
you can put up a rhino, you can put up one of the Dems, it doesn't even matter.
They're
And
interchangeable.
they lie to you right to your face with a smile, and it's just like, yeah, just the way he's looking at him, he's like,
Well,
like,
he's like, I know you know
whatever.
that I know that you
It's
know
just,
that I'm lying. I mean, we all know that. Everybody
we
knows
all
that.
know that this is we all know it's a lie. We all know he's, it's unbelievable. I mean, and these are the
Notice
guys
that
that we're gonna trust,
you could
entrust with everything.
you could fit a whole extra face on top of his face and still have room to roam. Oh, that's some funny stuff here, man. Anyway, let's listen to the rest of this. Yeah,
Oh,
Jim D has a good comment. We'll read this one
what a
after as
good way,
well.
what a good way to get started.
You got to start out with the Sherminator. So let's just watch this guy. Like Jeff, like he won't admit anything, doesn't know anything. It was opposition research. Okay, well, they turned it into a 3-year investigation to try to take out a duly elected president. Okay.
And why was he hired? Because he was the head of the Russia desk at MI6. He was a Russia expert, and the information was about Trump's ties to Russia. They got this information from the Russians, and they paid, in effect, Russian sources for it.
They paid a man to prepare a memo.
Quick, does it bother you? Does that bother you at all?
Memo.
Not particularly.
Does
It
it
has no
bother
effect.
you?
It
Has the
doesn't
Podesta
care,
group?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. This
He
is the
prepared a
1 million.
memo. A memo.
Jeff, this is the $1 million question. If you listen, this question is interchangeable with most of the people in Congress. Listen to the question again.
Not
Here we go. Hang on a second. I gotta back it up a little bit.
paid a man to prepare a memo.
Quick, does it bother you? Does that bother you at all?
Not particularly. It has
Does it bother you at all? No, it doesn't
No.
bother them. That's why they don't
Bother.
care, Jeff. They
It
just
doesn't give
doesn't.
a
Not particularly, it doesn't bother me. So you tied things up for 2.5 years in the courts, and then we find out it was all BS, and we find out that it was paid for by Gary Gensler, who was the bag man for the Hillary Clinton campaign. This is incredible,
Gary.
Jeff. This is the kind of
Just
this is the world
remember.
we live in.
It
World
is.
we live in.
It's a crazy world that we live in, and we can't forget that Gary Gensler was the CFO, and it
But
was
he didn't
great
know either, Jeff.
because Byron Donalds held him to task. But yeah, he's like, I don't know. Why would I want to know? Why do I know what the law firm does once we pay them?
Yeah, well, there's because
I
you
don't
paid them
know.
millions of dollars, and you kind of like want to know what you're paying for, especially during a campaign, because it's all trackable. But it doesn't particularly bother him that all of it was made up and BS and tied up in 2.5 years in the court.
Not at
Does it
all.
bother you? Has the Podesta group ever lobbied you for anything?
I believe they
Okay.
have. I believe they've also. I believe you're also a friend of Tony.
I'm not a friend
as well.
of him, and he's never lobbied me. I'm not a sitting.
Well,
I believe this is how he tries to save it. I think you're
Yeah.
a friend of Tony Podesta's, right? I think, by the way, yes, they have lobbied me. But I believe you're buddies with them too. Tucker's like, hell no, dude.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not an elected official.
I'm
Why are they
friends with
lobbying
Tony
him?
Podesta. What are you talking about?
you're not a member of
You are.
Congress, yes,
And I'm
but
not a friend of Tony Podesta's, but does it bother you that Tony Podesta took money with Paul Manafort from the Russians to carry their water in Washington?
Does it bother you that Paul Manafort was chair of Trump's campaign?
Yes, it does.
Well,
Does it bother you that the Podesta firm was working on behalf of the Russians?
I would like to. If it was true, it would bother
Well,
me.
it is true. I mean, there's
You're
no
asserting it. A
I'm
lot
not
of things are
asserting it.
asserted on this.
No, I'm not asserting it.
Okay.
It is factually
You're
true
saying that he failed to file a foreign agent's report.
You know, that's I believe that to be true. What I know is true is that they took money from Russian interests to represent those interests here in Washington.
Well,
and I
it
think
is not,
by
it is
your
not a
standards, that's
violation.
wrong.
When you say Russian interests, if you mean private companies, that's different.
No, I mean
a
the
lot
Russian,
of
I
companies.
mean the Russian government. I mean the Russian government.
If he
This was
did
a-
it, why
Well, he
don't
did
you
do it.
want to talk
It's
about
amazing how
impeaching
they
a
spin
president? And your answer is, hey, there's this lobbyist in town
Because
who's
the
any good.
predicate for this impeachment is exactly
No, the predicate
same
for the
behavior.
you haven't
that
read
you're
my
excusing.
my
Yes, I
articles of
have.
impeachment are only a page and a half, and you haven't bothered to read them.
Actually, I have read them.
Then you know.
And
they're
I think
about
they're
obstruction
even
of
more
justice.
factious now than I did before. Now that I know that there's no principle that undergirds them, that you're willing to
What
excuse anything the
obstruction of
Democrats do.
justice is a crime. It is
All right.
a felony
We're done.
punishable by 20 years, up
We're
to
done.
20
Come,
years.
come back when you got a tax bill and you want to chat about it.
The tax bill's been released, and you can't defend it.
Yeah, right.
This is
Yeah.
what we're up against. It's important that we play that. I'm glad you brought that, resurrected that clip, because
It's amazing.
you remember Sherminator is super anti-crypto. So you have an individual like that out in California, along with Maxine Waters and some of the other hooligans that supposedly represent our interests, and you realize they actually don't represent our interests. And this is what we're up against, Chip, and they just don't care.
No, does it bother you? Not particularly. That's the
Yeah,
question.
not
You
really.
can ask all of Congress that. Does it bother you? No.
No,
Hey, did it bother
get
you that
paid.
a bunch of punks broke in, a bunch of people who should be condemning hate and death broke into the Capitol, and it was a free for all, and it was just cool, and everybody was just like, yeah, whatever. But that wasn't an insurrection. No, that was cool
Yeah, there was no
because
insurrection today.
because they were hating all over and supporting of. I gotta be careful here, Jeff. I don't even know what to say, but in supporting death, basically, this is what they're supporting terrorism, and they break into the Capitol, and that's not an insurrection. No,
No,
only if it's only attached to one person. If it's Orange Man bad, then yeah, that's a bad thing. But
and they love
but
it.
if you are openly endorsing, and then you had Rashida Tlaib, she was
Rashida Tlaib was speaking
expressing
too.
right very close to the Capitol, just
Yes.
basically firing a bunch of people up. So this is
Now
just incredible.
you could claim that what she is doing is borderline on, if there's an activity that happens in this country in the near future or another country, you can lay the blame squarely at her feet. And you could say that it was her that should have been quelling the storm and calming things down, and she's been doing the exact opposite. She
Yeah, and
is
so
poking the hornet's nest.
oh yeah, big time. And this is and so what you're like, well, what does all this have to do with cryptocurrency? Well, here's what it has to do with it. Decentralization is the biggest threat to these power hungry nut jobs in Washington and Brussels, you name it, where London, you name it, Parliament, doesn't matter. Parliament up in Canada, it's the same in every country. They are power hungry. They're supposed to represent the
It's
people.
true.
What are they off
They
doing?
don't.
Just really enriching their own
Nothing.
efforts, enriching their own efforts. I mean, it's incredible. And we have another clip too to show you how you actually deal with the press. And it's probably the best. It's my favorite clip, Jeff. I've probably watched it 6 or 7 times in the last 2 days. It's just one of the best clips I've ever seen. But I thought it might be a good idea to. John Deaton was on with Charles Payne, one of my favorite, probably talking heads on Fox Business over there, and it was a pretty decent segment. I thought we would play that just because it's a little bit of a different side of what we're normally used to seeing. But I thought we
Yep.
would put this on here. Let's play this.
Before you play that,
Well, from
we're actually I'm looking at it over here on my other screen.
What do you got,
But
Jeff?
for those of you who don't know, we're actually streaming over on Rumble. So if you guys like Rumble, you want to go check out Rumble, you want to go hang out in the Rumble chat, we're monitoring the Rumble chat as well. I should pop it out and bring it a little bit closer over because it's pretty far away over here. So I'm going to pop it out and I'm going to bring it right here
Pop it
front
out,
and
Jeff.
center. And now you can chat in the Rumble chat. So go check out the Rumble. Make sure that you're following, give some thumbs up over on Rumble, and make sure that you're subscribed to follow on Rumble. We are planning, and it might even be next Wednesday, where we're going to do a Rumble only show. And so it won't be on YouTube, but it will be on Rumble. So you're gonna have to stay tuned to the X posts. Yeah, we still be here Saturday and Sunday and all that good stuff. But then Wednesday could be a big day. And actually, before we get into that, there's also another big day coming up here on Sunday, which is the 22nd of October. And something is dropping on October 22nd.
Yeah, and that is Jeff. You want to? There's a secret.
Well, it's a secret. It's a big secret. Find out on the 22nd. No.
No, it's not.
So
I'm not gonna,
we'll
not
talk
gonna
more
do
about it later on, but just know that it has something to do with the badass Yetis and something
it.
to do with the
Certainly
White Tribe.
does. Something
So
to do with the
we'll
White
tell
Tribe.
you a little bit more about that, and that's going to be the 22nd. We'll talk about that later. And something else that's happening on the 21st for all those that own a blue tribe, that's going to be important too, and we'll talk about that later. All right, now let's play the
Teasing
clip.
it out, Jess. Teasing it out. Let's put this back. Let's throw this back up
going in
there.
a schoolyard to taking on the SEC.
Let me do this here.
Well, from brawling in a schoolyard to taking on the SEC, my next guest has always been a fighter. He's fought for survival for himself, and now he fights for survival of others, and he writes about it in his new memoir, Food Stamp Warrior. Joining me now, crypto law founder John Deaton. John, first and foremost, congratulations on the book. You know, so on the back, it's interesting because from brass knuckle beatdowns on the schoolyard to showdowns with the SEC, and I don't know if we can zoom in, but you're wearing a pair of gold brass knuckles. I mean, what is the deal with these brass knuckles? Is that just sort of a reflection of you and your life and who you are?
Well, two reasons. One is that when you read the book, you realize that growing up where I did in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the country, no matter what size of population, and being bullied for a long time, I finally overcame that by adopting a pair of brass knuckles and defending myself for the first time. And after that, it just became symbolic. And then, of course, the book is published on Brass Knuckle Books.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the inner city of Detroit, a place called Highland Park, Michigan. It's a subsection of Detroit.
No way.
I thought all Detroit was inner city.
From Highland Park?
No,
I
Jeff.
had no idea it's from Highland Park.
No, Jeff. Highland Park.
Interesting.
Highland Park is rough. Okay, that's all I can tell you is that it's. Yeah, I was surprised too. I knew Detroit, but I didn't know Highland Park, and I'm learning a lot of stuff by reading the book. I got the book right over here. It's a pretty lengthy book too. You know, it's a pretty solid book, and it's a really good read. I mean, there's so much great thought that went into this, like the chapters, the statement and stuff, and there it is right there. There it is right there. Brass knuckle books right there.
Look at that.
So it's some good stuff here, and there's like about a John's life. There's some pictures of him right there, you know, growing up and stuff. But Highland Park,
So
dude, that's
crazy. I had no idea. I know we talked about it, but I can't remember that we talked about.
Well, it's
I
a rough-
think we had
it's a
mentioned
rough
Detroit,
part
but I
of
don't remember
Detroit.
Highland Park.
I was surprised about Highland Park too, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to know that going in. So
No pun intended either. I mean, it's a rough spot. To your point, it's a rough place to grow up. It's a rough place to come out of. So here you are. You go on to become a Marine, an attorney, a millionaire, and you represent so many people out there who are not represented.
Right.
Is all that part, do you feel a calling to do that?
Absolutely, because I'm the ultimate underdog, so I'm always compelled to fight for the underdog because that's who I am. I'm the first one to graduate high school. I come from generational poverty, not just poverty, Charles. And some people say they grow up poor, but there's poor and then there's true poverty.
When you say generational poverty, to me that also suggests it's not just not having money or resources, but a mentality.
You're 100% right, and that's what people fail to understand. And I talk about it in the book, Charles. What poverty does to the mind and the human spirit. I had a conversation. All my siblings dropped out of high school. I dropped out for the first 3 months. I'm looking for a private school that I can work off the tuition. And my mother catches me crying, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Well, I want to go to high school." She goes, "Well, just join the military when you're 17 like your brother did." And I said, "I want to go to college." And she said, and God bless you, strongest woman I ever met, she said, "Well, that's just not for people like us, John."
Right.
You know, and that's what it does. That's what poverty does to people. It handcuffs their mind, their spirit, and everything.
It's tough when the people around you, not nefariously, tell you you can't make it, you can't be something, only because they've never seen it happen before. So how did you make it happen without giving away everything in a book?
Well, I know it's not politically correct, but it is that hatred of poverty and the listening.
What's wrong with that?
Well, listening to
I love it.
Yeah, you would, and that's why, by the way, you're the first person that I publicly talked and interviewed about the book, and I couldn't think of anyone better for to do that. So thank you for having me. But it's like my mother said about not going to college. And listening to her cry at night because we went to bed hungry is something that will motivate you. And I wanted to make sure that I could give my children a life that I never had.
Before I wrap up this, so it's one thing to have the accolades. You went through. You became a Marine. You became an attorney. You became relatively wealthy. But how did you shed, or have you completely shed, the welfare mentality that can haunt you no matter how much money you have? And how can you make sure you don't pass it on to future generations?
You do it, first of all, by recognizing that you're not going to allow that. You're not going to be a mentality you have to adopt, Charles, that you're not going to let your destiny be dictated by your birth or the circumstances surrounding how you were raised.
Right.
Once you acknowledge that and you have a never quit, no fear attitude, no matter the odds, you can overcome.
The book is Food Stamp Warrior, John Deaton. Great stuff.
Just amazing
Very
interview,
cool.
right? I mean, isn't
Very
that phenomenal? I mean, it really is something fantastic,
Awesome.
right?
Very cool.
I mean, so inspirational, and knowing John Deaton, and having a chance to meet him. I didn't get to talk to him all that much because I mean, obviously, when I was at the proper party, but looking for the restroom, and all of a sudden I see, I'm like, is that John? I go over, stand next to him, nice little handshake, embrace, and his daughter Jordan took some photos of us, and I think that's her name. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, she took some of the best, probably the best pictures that I had. We chatted for a little bit, and like, man, so cool to see you in person, and wow, you're a real human being, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to meet him and just say a couple things. But the proper party, the thing that was so non-proper about it was, first of all, it was super massive loud. It was super dark. You couldn't hear well in there. But thankfully, John was in there early. I happened to be in there early, and as people, the crowd was wrapped around the building, so the crowd was like literally, I would say, man, it must have been 8, if New York blocks, at least 8 New York blocks. That's how big it was. People were streaming in for 2-3 hours just to get inside. So that's how insane it was. But there's a shot right there.
Look at that. Look at the man. Look at that
right there.
XRP shirt that he's got on.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was
we've
it.
got we got 18 people over here on Rumble watching on Rumble, which is pretty cool. Got the chat going. If you're over on Rumble, give a thumbs up on Rumble. I want to see the thumbs up. Go up. It's
That was
gonna be
cool.
cool, man. Rumble's kicking some butt over here.
Yeah, I love Rumble.
Great.
And guys, listen, go ahead and do yourself a favor now. Download the Rumble app right now on your phone. It's a great app. Just go to the,
Follow on the chain.
either go to iOS store or go to the Chrome store and is it Chrome store, Jeff? What is it on Android store, I guess? Yeah, and go ahead and download the app, and that way when you follow on the chain, you will get the alert. It will pop up on there. But just so you guys know, like, hey, I'm on Wednesday night. Where are these guys? We're going to be doing it on Wednesday night. Jeff and I want to, let's just say that you cannot continue to lose. We've lost over 300 subs, and we review the last 60 days of our videos, and there's like we lose 1 or 2. So it's an anomaly. We don't know what's happening. We'd rather go to a platform that believes in free speech and a platform that encourages, all out. You can just be who you want to be, and you don't have to censor yourself. And I don't have to go like, geez, Jeff, I don't know if I should say that. I might just, and I'm worse than you, Jeff. You're much better on par. You're much better than I am. I'm a little bit off the wall, but we can kind of like take the gloves off and talk about what we want to talk about. And if you like it, cool. And if you don't, keep it to yourself. That's what I always say. Don't tell anybody, right?
Don't like Rumble, don't say anything.
Yeah, but Jeff,
That's
something
very
else
cool.
that came up, and I know it's weird because sometimes we'll go like 2 shows, we might have 1 or 2 clips, and then all of a sudden, and I'm probably saying this name wrong, but Pierre Polivet, I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it, but he is running against Justin Trudeau for prime minister. He's in parliament right now, and he's an MP there, I believe. And again, don't crucify me. I'm not all that up on Canadian politics, but I know enough about Trudeau that he's destroyed a country almost as much as the guy we have in ours, but at least our guy's old as hell. And then what's Trudeau's excuse? I mean, anyway, but I wanted to put this clip forward because this is how you handle the press. And he does it all the while eating an apple, Jeff. This is a master class. This is a master
more of this.
how you deal with the press, because
We should
this is
start
how
eating apples on the show.
we should start eating apples in the show. This is the greatest. I'm watching like 6 or 7 times. It gets better every single time I watch it. But let's watch this.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, I don't
really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure.
This is just, I mean, this is the classic strawman argument. People are saying, which people? Well, I mean, some people have said, which page? They're taking a page out of his book. Well, which page
Like
is it?
which page? Which
They
people?
can't back it up. It's just gotcha questions. It's you have to defend yourself. And meanwhile, there's no clarity really around the question. And I'm like, he's like, well, which people? Like who? Like, give me an example. 0 examples. Move on to the next question. He's just sitting there nonchalantly eating this apple, Jeff. Like meanwhile, he's eating this guy's lunch. It's just ridiculous how phenomenal this is. Rye Guy says, trust me, Canada's done with Trudeau. I think Canada's been done with Trudeau for a long time. I don't know how he eked out the last one. Jim D says, I hope Canada can get rid themselves of Trudeau forever. He's a total narcissistic, self-serving ass. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Mark Smithson, Trudeau's got to go. Rumble might as well. The AI got kicked off Twitter. WTF. K-Hud says, props to the chain, underappreciated. Thank you, K-Hud. It's good to see you. Appreciate that as always. Thank you for
Then you got over here. Oh, K-Hud. Man, we haven't seen K-Hud in forever.
We haven't seen K-Hud in a while. I think K-Hud's here, but just maybe lurking.
Man, appreciate the support, K-Hud. That's pretty awesome.
Really appreciate that, man. It's fantastic.
Get all those windows going. Nando is saying, I know people who do that. They eat something, get their hands busy while discussing something. Always looks like this. Oh, look at that. That's a cool effect right there. Look at that.
We're seeing inside
how
of
many
an
windows
inside
does it go? Like how far back does it go? There we go. How long does it take to? It goes on for infinity like this.
Yeah, very easy. Hydroponics. Alan says, I love the fact that he's grilling the guy and why he thinks the way he does.
15 now on Rumble. Rumble's picking up. Look at that.
Rumble's picking up.
We just started going over there and people are finding us.
I will say this, Jeff, that our show on Wednesday probably will lean a little more political. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be political crypto.
It'll be political crypto. Now it's crypto political, geopolitical. So it'll probably get a little bit more. I mean, if we can go far, we can open it up a little bit, which would be great.
That's right. How far do you think this is going to go? This is pretty cool.
A great many Canadians, but
they're cool.
This is just honestly,
roll
Jeff.
It back a little bit. Roll it back a little.
One of the best videos, I think. One of the best interviews I've ever seen because he just destroys them. You know, people say like who?
Many Canadians, but
they're cool.
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so you must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is.
He starts smiling right there, Jeff. This is fantastic.
I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page.
I just love this so much. Give me the page. Which page? Which page?
You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not sure. I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians
forget that one?
Trust you with their vote?
Common sense. Okay. Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. The guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again? You want to be able to afford rent? Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck.
Jeez, Jeff, that's just a master class right there.
That guy's
making
solid.
Common sense common again in Canada. It's like you have Trump saying, which is make America great again. You have bringing back common sense, making common sense common again. It's not common anymore. Jeff. He used to call it common sense because it was pretty common, and he makes a great point that it's not common anymore. Let me remove this here. Right. You can go ahead and throw it up there.
So this one is from Chris. Said the reason Trudeau is still in power is because his Liberal Party formed a coalition with the New Democrats. Otherwise, they would have lost to the Conservatives. So you basically have the two socialist groups in Canada that have come together to beat out the conservative group, and so they're moving it in such a bad direction. I mean, it's
Mike's gonna vote for him.
Canada's been in a bad spot. Awesome.
Right there, you go. Charles Horn, clip is fantastic. Can you share it afterwards? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Charles, because it will be. Go ahead and go to onthechain.io and drop that in there if you can, Jeff. But if you go to onthechain.io and you scroll down to the bottom, put your email address, you will get whether you watch this or not. We tag every video, everything we play in the show. Because a lot of times people are like, "Yeah, I watched that in the show. I don't remember where it was, but I wanted to share it on Twitter or on X." Where I wanted to share it with a friend, and that's why we do that. So Jeff just dropped it on there on thechain.io, and if you scroll down, there's a place that says join the OTC family. We don't spam. We simply, when we close the show out at the end of the night, we go ahead and we send out that email. And you can also go to our website as well, and you can go to the latest show, and all of the links will be there as well. So you can see that, as well as where you can listen to it, because we have an audio version of the show that's on Google Podcast, Apple, Spotify, all those, and then you can watch it on YouTube. And then the Rumble show will always be available on all of the audio only ones, or at least it should be, right, Jeff?
Should be.
So there you go. That was just a master class in how you treat the press, because it's always a straw man argument. They said this happened. Well, who are they, and what are the page, and what exactly was said? And to be able to have that sort of clarity while you're eating an apple, I love it, man. I got to see more from this guy. One of the best clips I've seen, and that reporter had nothing. And why should Canada trust you with their vote? Because I'm going to bring common sense back, because it's not common anymore.
We like common sense, and that's why K-Hud is saying, I'll say, if you're watching the market, there's a lot of popcorn going on. It's very interesting with the lower caps. Not investment advice, just observation. There's some chaos going on. And he says, everyone's moving away to platforms where we can actually speak. It's kind of crazy, that we have to look for platforms, look for ways to speak, to have a little bit of common sense. That means, we got to move over to, it's a travesty of epic proportion. The other thing, it's amazing because you go looking for news today, and you want to get some updates, and you try to watch the mainstream media. It's already packed with misinformation. So then you go on YouTube, and there's misinformation. Then you go on Twitter, and you have to then figure out, how do you decipher all the fake stuff from the real stuff? I mean, now we're starting to see, the propaganda machine is ratcheting up right now on Twitter as things have been unfolding over in the terrorist territory, and so now it's amazing if you pay attention, but the propaganda is all over the place. So it's not just crypto, and it's interesting too, because we have a nice article here that we're going to go over in terms of how many accounts were shut down on Binance that were funneling money for terrorism. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But then you have the people like the Sherminator was so just vehemently anti cryptocurrency, because it was untraceable, and you wouldn't, and people were using it for nefarious purposes, and there was no AML, and there would be money laundering and support of terrorism. The one thing they neglected to remember is that there's also organizations out there that are tracking the movement of money on the different blockchains. And as soon as you tap in and figure out where one of them might be coming from, you can start piecing things together. And it's like, oh, here you go. I figured it out. Here's all this money that's flowing into the hands of terrorists. Oh, and by the way, here's where it's coming from. Look at that. It's very interesting. A lot of crazy stuff going on.
Sir John says, hey, Sean, I'm in bed watching the show and then to sleep. So that's good. It's like he's sitting next to his wife.
It's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
He's got the earphone in his ear, and we're sitting here talking, and we're looking. I'm like, Sir John's like, dude, I'm sitting in bed, and like my wife's probably sleeping. I'm trying to be real quiet as I'm watching the show, as I'm typing stuff in, and Devon
actually, Sir John's not in. He's not in bed. We got a live clip of him.
We do have a
live clip right now. It's right now walking home, and as he's listening to us, and he kind of let me play this real quick.
Wie einst Lily Marlin, wie einst Lily Marlin.
There it is, Jeff.
That's live right now.
Just like that. So
Like
Devon
that.
Steve says our shit time is going to start next year when the labor probably gets in. They all seem to love the worst of this power tripping the governments have had the last 3 years. Yeah, that's so.
Oh, Poland was doing really great for a little while and not so
Well,
much anymore.
I'm not buying it, Jeff. I mean, are you telling me that? Are you telling me? Hang on a second, man. And this is why I can't wait for the Rumble show because I want to go full blown. I can't even
Which
say
we
the
will.
word. But
Yep.
I will say it, but I will say that you're telling me that New Zealand flipped conservative, but you're telling me Poland, it's been conservative through the last 6 elections, all of a sudden
Mhm.
just happened to go left turn after
Yeah.
you have the polls, which are 85% lockstep. That tells me that there was some hanky
Something
panky
happened.
with the elect. Oh, something happened. All right. It's what you want to call is a not so up and up election results. And that's what happens. And this is what's happening where you have people who are installed, not elected. So anyway, I want to put this up, Jeff, because we teased it, but Indian government is getting more
There we go.
uncomfortable buying Russian oil with Chinese yuan, putting payments in limbo.
Yeah, who
Sources
called
told
that?
right? Sources told Reuters that India was getting less comfortable using China's yuan to buy Russian oil. Reuters reported the last 7 oil shipments from Russia had not been paid by India, and settling trade in yuan is more costly. India must convert rupees into Hong Kong dollars and into yuan. And you know what happens when they do that, Jeff? They keep losing on each effects, right? So anytime you have that next one that happens, next one happens. So what they're finding out is BRICS thing sounded good on paper, but what did we say, Jeff? Who did we say would be the overall
Uh,
currency that would float to the top? Just knowing we said it would be China all the way. People
oh,
laughed
yeah.
at us. They did that. They did this thing. You know those carnival barkers you see in the windows? Those animated things? That's
Yeah.
what they did. They laughed openly, Jeff. And we just said,
Oh, God.
you said, we said they're going to become very uncomfortable if you want to bow down and bend the knee to China. Let's see how that works out. And we're already starting to see, Jeff, it ain't working out so well, is it?
It's not. No, and it was gonna be short-lived, especially since all those countries like currency manipulation too. So I'm not saying that, India is practicing currency manipulation with the rupee, but I'm also not saying that the rupee's stable. I'm not necessarily pointing out that, China's manipulated the yuan this year, but they have in past years. Um, Not saying they're doing it right now, but I'm also
No,
saying it's
Jeff.
not stable.
Of course they're not
There's
doing it now.
not saying
There's
not
no way
saying
they're
that the
doing it
Russian ruble is being manipulated in any way, shape, or form, but also not saying that it's a stable currency. But India kind of woke up. As we talked about, from day one when they announced BRICS. I'm like, what does I stand for? And we're going through it, and S. I say I don't get it. The whole thing. Let's see, Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa. I kind of get it. Yeah, I get those guys wanna hang out and play together a little bit. Brazil, not so much. I don't understand why Brazil wants to play.
Well, I
They like
understand
to
why
be
Brazil had
isolationists.
it.
It
Brazil
should
had
just
its
be
own.
rickus.
Well, no, Brazil turned. Remember, they had a
Uh,
phenomenal turn of events, and they had a shady
that's true. They also have
installation
one of
going
those
on
shady
there too.
situations too. That's true. Yeah, we
Guy
can
that
talk
spent
about
two and a
that.
half years in prison. They busted him out of prison, and now he's the president.
Yeah, we kinda
Now
overlooked
they're
that part.
destroying the
So
company. You forgot that,
so the
Jeff.
the yeah, so the Burkus makes sense.
Sounds like
Burks,
Burka, Jeff.
or just Burks.
Bricks. The whole thing was fabricated. But look at right here.
Fabricated.
This is what they said right here.
Take
First of
India out
all,
of the equation.
they had to convert rupees into Hong Kong dollars and then yuan, and then the mechanism is 2 to 3% costlier than using the UAE's dirham, a currency India has shown a preference for. Added to that, and some in India see that yuan's use as a boost for China. Well, no kidding. Which is geopolitical odds
We
with New
didn't know that.
Delhi. The two countries will continue to dispute over the border, with troops clashing last year. So
Yeah, that was meant to succeed.
it's a complete free for all. But again, it says using the rupee in Indian Russian trade is unlikely to generate any support in Moscow. The country's already amassed billions of dollars worth of rupees. It's been unable to repatriate, and the currency stockpile is so large that one former Kremlin official blamed it for the Russian ruble class. So, Jeff, they're all turning on each other. You see
It's
what's
perfect.
happening here? It's like they're
It's
all
so
they're all sort of
perfect.
turning on each other. And well, geez, that reserve currency called the US dollar. It's so bad and evil, but things are going so well with this new system that they kind of almost wish they hadn't deviated. And you're going to see more and more. And what's interesting is a lot of the nations that wanted to join BRICS are not joining, and kind of, and there's a lot of other countries that are like, well, let's just kind of see what happens. I don't know if I want to get off the US dollar right away. And so we're seeing a lot of that thought process happen. But again, everyone's BRICS, 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 BRICS. It's going to make everything's going to be great. You've got these countries that hate each other. China will not allow anybody else to use any other currency. It isn't going to work out well. What's
Yeah,
up?
so
Here?
you
What
know,
is SW? What are you doing in here? It's like amazing. She's popped in here.
oh,
Look at that.
SW. There's
W's
SW.
here. It's 2 o'clock in the
SW.
it's like 2 in the morning over there.
So this one here, you kind of get, BRICS, and all this chaos going all around here. But I saw this one. I wanted to pull it up because this Josh Ramos kind of puts it together too. BRICS, U.S. and Europe may soon need local currencies to buy oil. And I'm looking at this based on what we just talked about with India, and I'm like, so let's say, China wants to receive digital yuan. Let's say Saudi Arabia wants whatever local currency they want to receive. Let's say somebody, whatever currency they want, doesn't matter. And I was thinking about this. I said, you know what has that potential with all this stuff going on with BRICS and the oil, and people don't want dollars and they want whatever they want. And I said, you know what? This is like perfect timing right now is for the XRPL. All right, you go in dollars, it comes out in rupees. You want your damn rupees? Here you go. We're going to pay you in rupees. You want, we're going to pay you in yuan, except we're using our dollars. I'm not going to convert my dollars to yuan or rupees to go buy your stuff. We're going to do it through the XRPL. And maybe there's a solution by a company called Ripple that has something called RippleNet that might facilitate fast liquidity changes. And once you start using the ODL, maybe that's going to impact the FX, and you can do instant exchange of currency from one to the next. I don't know. It just seems like things are going to line up nicely with all of that, and this is like the timing of it. So forget about BRICS, forget about all of this nonsense. India is going to pull out. It's going to dissolve itself. It's going to fragment as Russia and China start butting heads over who wants to dominate and control it. And the fallout's going to be Brazil and South Africa. That's my prediction.
It's anybody's guess what's going to happen, but I don't think it's going swimmingly well at the moment. But look at this, Jeff. Here's this. Look, so we saw a lot of this, and look, Scott Milker's a great guy. I mean, this isn't a knock on Scott. Scott's phenomenal, puts out great stuff, commentary, phenomenal podcast. But it's just it's a symptom of what's been happening recently on X. So this story got everywhere. Roblox and Ripple, major gaming company, integrates XRP. The integration of XRP as a payment method by BitPay and Xsola serves as a pivotal moment in the crypto, blah, 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 right? So there's a whole thing on this whole Roblox thing.
Yeah.
Great, right, Jeff? That sounded great.
What does he say here? This could be a game changer, especially for Roblox, given its larger user base, because it says here with a focus expanding the cryptocurrency payment landscape. So it's about this whole article is about BitPay and Xsola, not so much about XRP and Roblox.
Correct. Yeah. And so the thing about it is like if you have a payment gateway into it, but it starts when you start conflating the fact that Roblox is now it's the headline that kind of gets it. Roblox and Ripple, which doesn't make sense, right? So Roblox, it would be Roblox and XRP.
But again, gaming company integrates XRP, which is false.
Right? And so what we found here is Roblox debunks the inaccurate XRP support claims, says crypto payments are not allowed. Is Roblox adding support for XRP, the token used by Ripple? They just can't get away from that. You can't teach these people.
They can't get away. They always have to mention Ripple. If you took Ripple out of the equation, people would be like, okay, yeah.
The token used by Ripple. How about the token used? I mean, every single time they got to call it Ripple. They miss it. They just can't. You can't teach them. You can't teach these dogs old trick. Nope. Despite rapidly spreading claims, the gaming platform says it's false.
False.
And they go on to say that Roblox has denied that it will support XRP payments despite claims that spread widely on Tuesday, telling Decrypt that any suggestion that gamers could buy Roblox to pay for in-game items with ripples, there we go again, XRP token is inaccurate. The rumors began swirling late Monday when payments processor BitPay tweeted that users could begin using XRP token for Xola payments in supported games, and then tagged the free-to-play games Roblox and Smite. Xola now accepts BitPay as a payment method for their games such as Smite and Roblox. BitPay wrote a now deleted post. Jeez, that's weird. Now deleted, Jeff. You can use your favorite cryptocurrency to buy, play, and enjoy gaming like never before, the post claimed. But then when asked why the tweet was deleted, BitPay's CMO Bill Zielke told Decrypt via email, he said, well, there was an error in the tweet. We'll have more tweets about merchants accepting crypto in the near future. It's like, what was the error? It was the tweet. There was an error in the tweet. Like, as if it was
the whole writing of the tweet was wrong.
Carl Polier, right? So it's like, which tweet? Like the error in the tweet is not like makes me believe that it was like 1 or 2 words, or was the error the tweet? Yeah, what are you gonna say there? What are you? Stay tuned. So anyway, that's what we learned. That's where we are. That's exactly what we learned, and it's incredible, Jeff.
That's how you learn the wrong way.
So Jeff, there's a lot going on about the clawbacks, right? This clawback amendment that's going through that was up for the validators. To be honest with you, the whole idea of clawback kind of goes against, in my opinion, everything that cryptocurrency is about, right? If you can make a payment and you can suck it back, that to me is not decentralized, and that has a problem. I don't like the whole idea. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what it is, but the whole idea of a clawback and having something, and I get, you could say like, well, it was done in error, it was done in this. Okay, but then we're getting away from decentralization and what crypto was meant to be. Am I wrong there? I don't know.
I know. I think there's some method to the madness, because think about if you send a transaction and you can't undo the transaction. There's no timing for for the for the deletion of the transaction. So somewhere along that process, the point, with XRP, it's fast, right? So, but is it the ledger's responsibility to do that, or is it an exchange's responsibility? If you're doing a transaction and let's say you're using an uphold, they tag you multiple times as you're going through it. Are you sure you wanted to? Are you sure you know the address? Think about how many the number of steps that you have to go through in order to send anything, and then you have to go in and get your 2-step, and you're doing your thumbprint. Then you have to do a retina scan, and then you have to type in a 1,000-digit password, and then when you think that's all done, you're like, I'm done. That's it. I did everything I have to do to send this 50 XRP that I was going to send. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, verify your email. There's going to be something to your email. You verify the email. Then you're like, oh shit, my phone now. My phone is, I got to do my 6-digit from the phone. Then finally, after you've done all that, you're lucky if you don't have to give a blood sample. So the whole idea of the clawback, I get it, but there's so many steps to your process to send anything nowadays. And maybe some of them are a lot easier. Like if you go on to Zum, it's like, boom, there you go. I just sent $10,000 and I lost my money. No, I don't know. I mean, there should be somewhere in there, an in between when you're sending something, just to give yourself a moment to say, hey, did I really mean to send it? Am I sending it to the right address? It'd be nice if there was a way to verify the address. On Zelle, when you go on, you can somewhat verify that the person you're sending to is a phone number, or they're in your phone book, and then it's in the Zelle, and maybe they're recognized, and there's some they're authenticating that they're a Zelle receiver. Maybe there's a way within crypto that they can authenticate the receiver. How about do that? Authenticate who you're sending it to. But now here's the other problem, which is where I think crypto is kind of like, it's not the right tool for this. If I'm going shopping on Amazon, I'm not using crypto. I'm going to use a credit card. If I go to Best Buy to go pick up something, I'm gonna use a credit card, because the thing is that you still have that little semblance of security that if something goes wrong, you can call your credit card company if there's any type of dispute. Typically, if it's gonna be like an online transaction, something happens, you have to file a dispute. I want to get my money back. But if you're going to a big box store, there's a refund policy. So I'm trying to think, like, in what scenario, Chip, if I didn't know you and I was going to buy something from you, I would use PayPal, right? Because I know that if something goes wrong, PayPal is going to somehow yank the money back from you. That's the clawback. What's that?
Count on that.
No, but so where does this all factor in with a clawback on the crypto? I'm kind of all over the map on this one, but I think you need a form of a clawback. I just don't know if it belongs in the XRPL. I'm not sure. But let's see what they think it means. What does it mean on their side?
I wish we had more time to play Daniel's video. He's been putting together some really great videos. Daniel, who's a chief tech officer for Eminence, which is the parent company of Casino Coin, but he put together, I'm just reading the text here, but the process of enabling clawback comes with specific prerequisites. Issuers who have already distributed tokens or activated certain account features such as trust lines, offers, escrow, payment channels, checks, or signer lists are ineligible to activate clawback. This stipulation underscores the importance of strategic planning. Issuers must decide on using the clawback feature before any other significant account activity. Furthermore, once the clawback function is activated, it becomes a permanent feature of the account, eliminating the possibility of a reversal. And this is where it gets important here. Other than with freeze, which makes tokens unspendable, clawback deducts the token balance in the target account. That's the major fundamental difference. So the introduction of clawback feature addresses regulatory and compliance needs in the digital asset space. These are instances where, for legal reasons, issuers must retract tokens. For example, if tokens inadvertently land in the hands of entities involved in illicit activities, the clawback function empowers issuers to recover those assets, ensuring compliance with legal standards. Here is in bold. However, a critical distinction exists. This feature is exclusively for specific tokens, does not apply to XRP. Clawback brings both advantages and disadvantages to the table.
Thank
on
you,
the positive
and good night.
Thank
you,
and good. Thank you. Facilitates issuers in meeting stringent regulatory requirements, ensuring that the on-chain record of tokens remains accurate, blah, blah, blah. And then we had over here, Krippenreiter kind of just summed it up. He's like, look, so you don't, I feel it's crucial to be aware that this is not a feature intended for DeFi, can't be used with XRP, can't be used in tandem with AMMs, severely limited in terms of how the feature must be approached in the first steps of issuing a token, cannot be activated retroactively. You got to set up the account from square one, and will most likely be tagged in the same way as black hole accounts are on numerous XRPL explorers. Having said that, it makes more sense to look at this from a perspective of imitating TradFi or viewing it as a tool of more control where DeFi functions are not as necessary. Now that just sounds less scary, right? That's what he says.
Except it doesn't work on the XRP.
It's but the best way to sum this up is Neil Hartner, who works for Ripple. He is a senior staff software engineer.
This is what I'm talking about.
This is how you talk to your kids about freezes and clawbacks in the XRPL using Mortal Kombat. Number one, freezes, Jeff. This is what a freeze looks like. Boom, there you go. Freeze, boom, falls down.
Exactly what.
That's a freeze. Like if you're more familiar with Mortal Kombat, that's boom. Sub-Zero wins. And then if you're in a clawback, looks like this, Jeff. I got a boom. There's a
Scorpion.
Boom. Scorpion, Sub-Zero. That's a clawback right there. And this tweet,
dude, that was one of the greatest games ever made in the history of video games.
On the internet, he absolutely won the internet with these two tweets right here. Just boom, freezes. And
that version not so great. That is the original Mortal Kombat. That was one of the greatest games ever made. Forget about crypto. Forget about XRP. Give me that game again. Man, that was I spent so much time. I spent so much time in the arcade with that game. When that came out on Sega, man, I thought it was the greatest.
Sega, wow, you're going.
Man, I finished that game. I finished that game in the arcade. Went right
I realized
the greatest game ever. What's that?
My life back when I stopped gaming. That's what I realized. It doesn't mean that I don't, because I loved it, man. I loved everything about it. I loved being in clans. I loved,
Oh man. Were you able to claw back your life?
I was able to get my life back, and it was always one more game, one more level, one more mission, one more this or that, one
Oh,
more
one more
first
everything. Oh,
shooter
man.
game, this or that. And so even once in a while, I might catch myself watching Twitch. I'll be watching some gamers on there, and I really want to, and I'll be like, no, dude, don't you can watch it from afar, but your gaming days are long over. And I love gaming. It was just phenomenal, but you realize at
It's the best.
some point you had to let it go. But one of the things we wanted to talk about is that we have the Badass Yetis White Tribe will be minting on October 22nd. If you are a holder of 1, 2, 4, 50, whatever you own of the Blue Tribe, 1-to-1. So the snapshot is going to happen the day before on the 21st at 6 p.m.
That's a
So
Saturday, I think.
Saturday at 6 p.m. is going to be the snapshot date. And what does that mean? That means that the snapshot will be taken. So when you come in, and let's say you own two excuse me, 2 Badass Yetis, you'll be able to go mint 2 White Tribes.
And
at
how
no
does it
cost.
work exactly? Did they explain to us how it works specifically? So you do the
Well,
snapshot, you're going to be eligible for whatever number of Blue Tribe into the White Tribe.
we'll get some more details on exactly how that works, but they've it's like a whitelisted mint where if you have 2, you'll get 2 type of deal, which is
Yeah,
great. But
very cool.
just so you
So awesome. We're so excited about it.
there are some Blue
You guys are gonna
Tribes
love
left.
it.
Blue Tribe, out of all of our tribes, we released them first because there's only 589. They are very rare. The tribes are rare. The clans themselves are very rare. It's so funny, Jeff. It's like we're not gaming anymore. We're still talking clans and tribes and everything else. But it's just a different thing. And
What about the
of course,
Badass Yetis?
Jeff and I
These
have
are
it.
badass, and we have another project coming out after the White Tribe drops. But right now, it's all about the White Tribe here. Look at that. That's one of the elders. There's only 7 elders in the White Tribe,
Super
right?
rare.
Mo Meta Media badass. But those are super rare. 7 of them in the entire. How many did we come up with? 1,445. 1,445 in the White Tribe. And so 7, there's only 7 of these elders. The elders have the guardians, and the guardians are like they're like mini elders, and the guardians eventually, can develop into becoming elders, and it's very cool.
It's a very good thing,
Man,
man.
we had like 35 that were watching over on Rumble. Now it's 24. We've already built up a community of people over on Rumble. Look at that. That's very cool.
I totally love
And
that.
Rumble now, they're like, what is this? We came here for the politics, not for the NFTs. That's what happens over on Rumble.
Yeah.
Actually, people came here for the crypto and geopolitic.
Yeah, so I want to just let's run through these really quick. I actually had the wrong tweet up there, but or expos.
There
I
we
should
go.
say.
Those
Here we
guys are
go.
guardians.
These are the guardians right here. These guys right
Zoom
here.
in
The
a little bit
guardians.
if you can. There you go. Look at that. Look at that
Guardian.
detail. Look at the fur texture.
We got the
Belt.
Tempest.
Oh, the
angry,
Tempest.
Jeff.
These guys are badass too.
They're angry. Look
Don't
at
run
that.
into them on the mountain.
They're just banging. They're coming looking for a fight, man.
Oh,
Then you've got the brutes. Look at that. Furrowed brow right there.
The
Grin
brutes.
teeth. Some of them have some messed up teeth. Look, they've been through some rough times. I'm going to say, right? Then you got the ash yetis. They're dirty little bastards, Jeff. They're always on fire. They're always dirty. They're ash. They're ash. You can see the burning in the background there. Then you've got these fire yetis. These fire yetis can throw fire, and you can see a little bit of fire coming off the top of his head right there. But these suckers can
pretty sweet.
serious fire. You'll always see that there's always a burner in the background there. Then you've got the little prowlers. They're cute little buggers that are little forest dwellers, but
Yeah, they prefer the cool grass on their feet instead of the snow. They don't mind frost.
Of course, you got there's one of the elders right there, and here's the ass kickers.
The ass kickers are cool too. Look at that blade,
baby,
coming out to kick some ass. Badassery.
Then, of course, Yuck Yucks bring the comedy relief. They're fun, always telling jokes, comic. And then you got the bandits. The bandits are quick, they're fast, and they are deadly.
Deadly. Those teeth.
There you go. Bandit. So that's all of them. That's that. They will be minting on the 22nd. So if you guys are thinking about getting another badass Yeti, get it before the 21st, before the snapshot happens. And we are super excited to be releasing these. And again, I will just say this, that the blue tribe, very rare as far as that's concerned. So,
and if you don't know how to find the blue tribe, you can check it out over on the XRP.cafe.
Go ahead and drop that link.
XRP.
Drop that link in there, Jeff.
XRP.cafe. You can pull them up real quick. There we go.
There we go.
I got them right here.
There it is right there. And these are the other guys right here. Look at the after.
There's a link. There's a link to the badass Yetis. There's the blue tribe right there. The blue tribe just waiting for the white tribe to be generated. So excited about that. It's gonna be really cool. I think you guys are gonna love it. The art is cool, really cool art.
We had a couple aftermarket sales in the last couple of days, so they're starting to go up in value. Starting to see some higher sales. We had a pretty nice one today, so it's very interesting. So excited about it. And Jeff and I, if you guys know, we missed a couple shows because Jeff and I were hard at work on getting these bad boys ready. And like Jeff said, we have another project right behind this, which you may or may not hear about. But anyway, it's another project. You may or may not hear about it. If you come to Rumble, you'll hear about it. We might disclose it. Maybe not here. We might disclose it on Rumble, but I don't know if we'll disclose it.
And something we haven't talked about for a little while is badassery. Badass. Wait a minute. I just
talking about Jeff. Talking about the badass Yeti's coffee. I think that's what you were talking about.
I'm trying to get the badass Yeti coffee. I'm trying to open it up. And I'm typing in the wrong thing. And
I got some badass Yeti's coffee today. This is what I bought right there. I got the Obsidian Bold right there. Man, Jeff, I ground that stuff up, and I'm telling you, man, the taste. Even if you just enjoy coffee, if you get a fresh ground, the oils, and man, so delicious. There it is, badass Yeti's coffee.
Badassery.
You can go ahead and order some coffee right there.
You've heard it here first. That's it. Mike loves it. Look at that. The best. Sean Thompson is saying badass coffee is better than Black Rifle coffee. And you know it's true because I've got the I purchased the Black Rifle coffee before. And I'm really particular about the coffee. Putting the badass coffee together. Chip and I went through a lot, and both super particular, making sure that it has the right flavor to it, not too acidic, not bitter, just kind of full, rich, dark. Just a lot of good stuff to it.
Farmers were going to get ripped off, and it was sustainable and everything like that because there's so much bad vibes around the coffee business, making sure that the farmers get compensated properly. So there was a lot that went into it, which is why it took us about 6 months to make it happen. But again, your order comes in, it's roasted, it's shipped out the next day. So you're getting freshly roasted beans, and no knock against like Black Rifle and a lot of the coffees out there. The problem is they just sit on the shelf for 6 months. So even if they're vacuum sealed or if they're in bag, whatever it is, what ends up happening is that they dry out. Not like I had some Ely, which I opened up a fresh can of Ely. It just happened to be sitting in my cupboard, and I got to the point where I ran out. And I just compared those beans to this beans. There's no comparison. Even if you bite one, it's a good coffee. The problem is it might be 6 months to a year old that it's been sitting there, and it was vacuum sealed.
You never know. Yeah, it's even my favorite coffee, the Segfredo. But Segfredo somehow maintains its freshness. Problem is we get it in 2-pound bags, and by the time you go through it, it already starts getting stale, as you're like a halfway through, because it's not keeping the freshness. And with the badass coffee comes in slightly smaller batches. So, it doesn't go stale. You're using it. Use it every day. It's amazing. Has good oils to it, good crunch.
And he's purchased many times. So, thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. It is delicious, but it might not be for everyone. You know what my sister-in-law said to me this weekend? I had my sister-in-law in town. She's like, coffee's too expensive. But then they were going to Starbucks 2 days in a row and buying $6 coffees. I'm like, so you just purchased 2 coffees for $12.
Yeah.
You buy 2 more and it's a bag of ours. And then if you know how to make it and you know how to, if you make it stovetop or whatever,
for a long time. Oh yeah.
but the strong function, I make it in a K-cup. And the weekends, I do the stovetop Italian,
Oh, it's the
which is
best.
the best. But I'm like, you just spent, so buy 2 more coffees and you just bought a bag. And you know how long this bag will last you compared to those 4 coffees you bought? So I had a laugh. I was like, it seems expensive, but again, it is brewed to order. And if you have badass Yetis, you can get a discount code, and we can share that discount code as well. But again, this is how it started. It started with Jeff and I wanting to build a project on the XRPL.
Yeah.
Came with the badass Yetis. Now we have our second mint coming out. We turned that into a brand. And you know what's next from that? The badass whiskey. That's right behind it, Jeff. I can just imagine a whole line of badassery. Badass coffee, badass whiskey, all the things that we love.
Badassery. Man, look at, I remember Jag 17 from a long time ago. He said, "Oh my God, you guys are still around." And then you got Chillin' Brad, Dave's, Chris, Ripple, and VC's XRP bags. XRP goes up 20 to 30 cents. They start dumping like crazy, making millions. That's why we'll never get to $2. There you go. That's the
Oh my
that's
God,
the XRP commentary for the entire show right there.
Jag is what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Mike says the stovetop's the only way to get all those oils and flavors. It is the best way, without a doubt. But you know what I'm talking about, Mike, right? The oils and the flavors, all that stuff that get in the cup, and man,
That has Halloween candy. Make sure you guys go to Rumble. Go to Rumble right now and go and follow us on the chain. Go to On the Chain. Go check out this link. You guys have to go over there. Follow us, because next Wednesday we are going to be doing an exclusive Rumble only.
Rumble, baby.
Does that mean we have to take it off of X also? So it'll just be strictly on Rumble, nowhere else. No Twitter, no X, right? Just Rumble. Sole source, one location for everybody. Do we push everybody to Rumble?
I don't think X is gonna ping us. It just won't be on YouTube.
I don't think they will, but what if we pushed everybody to X? Anyone on Twitter?
Well, the problem is
everyone has to go to Rumble.
The problem is it's hard to watch it on X. It's not the best of,
It's a bad platform. You scroll and you miss it. So let's try to do it exclusively on Rumble, or we'll do it on Twitter and we'll start pushing people to Rumble. This will be your last chance on X. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah,
It'll
so
be
do it.
interesting. I want to see how many people we can push everybody over to Rumble. And you got to come over there and follow us on Rumble. But that stands for the Twitter people that are watching right now over on X can come over to Rumble as well. And our one Twitch person, let's see if they're watching us on Twitch. Nope, not today. Yeah, look at that. The one Twitch viewer right over there. There's that always one over there. So you can come over there too. So
yeah, Twitch, I think it's cool. Twitch is all right. But anyway, that's all we have today for you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for giving us a little fun time at the end. People are like, you guys are always chilling your project. Hell yeah, man. We wanted to build on the XRPL. We did it. We wanted to create a brand. We did it. Just moving through it, man. We're, living the dream. Usually you're living someone else's dream, because I'll say that to somebody. How you doing? Living a dream. Not mine, but somebody's. You're either living someone else's dream or you're living your own dream. So you guys, especially all the kind things were said about the coffee, because Jeff and I weren't going to put out garbage. That's just not going to work for us.
Someone said, can't get Rumble on an Android. What?
That doesn't make sense. You have it on your phone, Jeff.
I got Rumble on my phone.
Yeah, what are you saying there? What are they saying, Jeff? That doesn't make sense.
It's right there. It says Rumble. And I open it. It says Rumble. And I've got stuff on it, and I can watch stuff on it.
Yeah, why does it say?
Maybe I downloaded this on Samsung. I don't know. That's interesting. Interesting dilemma. Let me see. Before we go, let's look it up on the Play Store. Oops. Let's type in Rumble. There's Rumble. And there it is. It's right there. Rumble's on it's on there.
Google Play.
It's on Google Play. It's right there. I can download it. But maybe it's where you're at though. Maybe, I don't know. Now, the other way you can do it is just go to your computer thing and type it in. Do it in your browser. And that's it. And Alex D just doesn't give an F.
Doesn't give an F.
Mike says, I'll be there if I can. Man, of course you'll be there. Come on now. But check us back out here on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the chain. More great crypto dialogue. And that's how it works.
That's how it works. Before we go, I just wanted to end this. So, Jeff, this is something that I tweeted out. This is right here is the XRP community when XRP rises by 2 cents. So let's listen in here.
Oh
Tell me
my
if you
God.
can you hear this? Can you hear that?
Yeah, it's faint.
This is the
but yeah.
XRP community. It just XRP just
Went
went
up
up
2 cents.
There we go. $2 cents, Jeff.
Oh man.
XRP.
Man, these guys are fired up.
And it just went down again. It's back to normal. Sorry, it just went back down again. But this is this great video. There you have it, Jeff. XRP up 2 cents.
There you have it. That's the Kia from New Zealand.
Kia, there he goes. It's good stuff, man. That's what you call a.
So Jess says, I've got a badass Yeti. Do I get discount on the badass coffee? And the answer is yes. You have to come over to the Discord.
Do I drop the Discord link in there, Jeff?
Where is
So yeah, you do get a
Discord
linkage. That is our utility for now. But again, guys, we've always been working on some utility. You know, if we can figure out a new way to offer some more utility, we definitely will. But the utility you have right now is that if you own a badass Yeti, you do get a discount code. And all you do is go into our Discord and you verify your badass Yeti, or if you have multiple ones. And of course, if you'll have at least one or two more, depending on how many you have right now. Once we mint the white tribe, so how you doing?
Where did our?
It's on the. It's on the Twitter. It's on our Twitter.
Oh, it used to be in our description. It's been left out of our description. That's crazy.
It used to be in there. Yeah. What did we?
We had a nice link right here. It's gone. I gotta open it up. Go to the share. Get the Discord. I can open in Discord. There we go.
Open it up.
Did you know?
Drop that puppy right in there.
Did you know we're getting into the Halloween spirit? That's what it says. So now we go to the Hangout. Then I'm going to create an invite. And I'm going to send a nice invite right over here. Here you go. I'm going to plug it in here. So if you go over and go join the Discord, if you're not there yet, get into the Discord. And then from the Discord, go to something called Verify Your Yeti. It's in the Badass Yeti section. Just go to Verify Your Yeti. And then over there, you'll verify it, go through the process. And then once you can verify your Yeti, you'll then you'll see something open up. You'll open up one of the lodges. So you'll see, depending on how many blue tribes you have, you'll see a warrior lodge, a shaman lodge, an elder lodge, a tribal lodge. You'll see one of the member lodge. You'll see one of the lodges open up. And then from there, just go into the lodge and you'll see your discount code.
And SoFlow Digital says our mental is part of the blue tribe. They, in fact, are a part of the blue tribe. So you can either pick one up.
Those are blue tribe.
What the aftermarket is, you can pick one up that you know exactly what it is, or you can go ahead and take a chance on a mint. But yeah, these are the mentalists right here, and these are the blue tribe. But you can see there's a couple of them. Here's one right here. You get for 185. Get that exact one right there, if you want.
Oh, no, what's that?
Or you can mint one.
No, you can just mint it there. Once you use the discount code for the coffee, I think that discount code stays in there for you until you add another discount code. Is that correct?
So yeah,
I think that's how it works. It kind of stays in the system, I believe.
I believe it does, but it's been a road for us.
Go to your lodge.
Finally be we put a lot of time and effort. It's been a lot of fun for us. I'm going to say, we love doing this podcast, but again, it was a great project for us to really dig in. And we started with nothing. So we had to invent these characters. We had to name them. We had to give them attributes. We had to think about that. And at some point, we did write a lot of other stuff around them. So there's other potential possibilities, and we did actually craft a game out of it. So we went down that rabbit hole and went a little crazy there, Jeff. We went a little bit on the nutty side, but that's why it was a lot of fun to do that. And so again, with the White Tribe too, with all the names and all the different exploring and trial and tribulations, the trial and error. That's the best part. What we ought to do, Jeff, is we ought to have the rejected Yetis, the ones that didn't make it. That might be the last tribe. These are the ones that are just horrible. They're just awful. They come out right.
That'd be interesting. The rejects.
Can you imagine that? The reject tribe. They're just a bunch of band of brothers that are just forced together because they're just so awkward. I don't even know if anybody'd want those, but maybe we just put them all together and make them a free mint. I don't know, but yeah, there was for all the good ones we had, there was a lot of ones that just hey, it's trial and error. Or sometimes, I mean, it was some came out good, some of them were half. We had they didn't all make the cut. Let's put it that way. So anyway, that's all we have tonight.
That's all we got.
Flo, appreciate that.
Time,
guys. Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate you guys. Tribal Misfits. Oh, I like the name of that, Jeff.
I like that.
Tribal Misfits. Oh,
that's deplorables.
Also working on a limited edition, which is going to be coming up for the XRP Gold Coast happening over there in Australia. Jeff and I are working on a series for that as well.
Interesting.
Which is pretty exciting. So, and that will not be the Tribal Misfits. That you can guarantee that's not going to be that. The deplorables, that could be another one that you go, man. You see why we love this this crowd so much. Just brilliant.
The best in the brightest.
That's all we had. We went long tonight, Jeff, but it was just one of those
days. Nando saying also on Rumble on Android and can't find Rumble either.
That's so weird. Like, is it because you're ask him which phone brand are you trying to find it on? Because I'm wondering if
he's got a Samsung. Maybe Rumble's only available on certain versions of phones. That could very well be. That's interesting. But you should be able to get it on a browser. You should be able to go to your Chrome browser and type in Rumble.
Yeah, a lot of people
logged in as well. But it's gonna suck to watch that way unless you have that.
Honk off.
Huh?
He might have. Is Sir John still here? Is he still like hanging around, or is he just like,
Sir John's gone? He's sleeping.
They're off. They're done.
Jacob's Ladder was saying, send an elder to go speak with Gary G.
Sean, yeah, we sent a couple of them. They just surround them to be over. Sean wants to hear the old outro. And Sean, anytime you ask for it, I'm going to give it to you, man.
Yeah, thank you, and good night.
Thank you, and good night. Anyway, guys, that's all we have. I will play the old outro for old time's sake. Yeah, it's still in there. We have never deleted it, but that's all we have, guys. Chip and Jeff out. Let me make sure I got the older one. Wait a minute. There it is.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops. Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.